Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, welcome people to episode 178 of Dude and the Monkey. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Foster, and as ever, I am joined by...
Ian Loring, hello.
Today we are going to bring you another double review. We brought you a double review last week, I believe. Did we? Yeah? I'm right, yeah. And we're bringing you a double review next week as well, I think, aren't we?
Yes, we are next week. I can't remember last week.
Yeah, we are just doubling up all that we did. We did Blair Witch and something else.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Hunt for the Wilder People, yes, we did. And then next week we're going to bring you another double review. We're just fucking flinging reviews at you like motherfuckers. Okay. This week it is The Magnificent Seven and Rob Zombie's latest offering, 31. We're also going to chat some trailers, we'll do some tangents, I'm sure, and a bit of what we've been watching. I think we've got a couple of questions and other bits and bats. Is there anything that's happened in like the 4 or 5 days since we last recorded?
No, I don't think so. We were just talking about football off mic, but fun stuff. It'll be old news by the time this goes up.
It will, but as we are recording, it would seem like Sam Allardyce is about to leave the England national job with a staggering one game in which he basically said after it, well, Rooney can play where he wants, can't he? That will be the overriding. What is it? I'd like some of the sort of caption things that have been coming out, which have been the stills of Allardyce sat, and then people saying putting their own caption in things like if you can't get a seat at a Toby Carvery, just mention my name and things like that. There's some great ones.
What a hilarious clusterfuck.
Yes, he's the gift that keeps on giving.
Deary me.
Yes. Well, we might as well delve straight into it then, Ian. Trailers. What trailers have you been watching this past week?
I've got no fucking idea, man. Legitimately, I've got no idea. Hang on. Have I even watched any? I watched
the King Cobra trailer.
Which I was going to see at LFF on Thursday, but I'm now not. Basically because it's an 8-hour round coach trip for 2 films, and I can't. I don't know. I'd rather just have. And also, I've got the Cardiff Half Marathon on Sunday, and I need to go for a long run. So. Never mind.
So are you not doing LFF at all then this year?
I'm doing. Yeah, no, I am. I'm halfway through my first online screener film, which I'll talk about next week, and I'm going up in a couple of weeks, a couple of times. So,
all right.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bit to talk about. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Go on. How was the trailer?
It looks all right. It's hard to judge from the trailer where it's what it's trying to pitch itself as, whether or not it's trying to pitch itself as a slightly more kind of dramatic look at, of taking the idea of Magic Mike, that kind of thing, of guys, in situations where you usually have girls, you're going to put guys there, and it dealing with the male porn explosion of online, looking at it from that side. You can't tell whether or not it's going in there a little bit kind of tongue-in-cheek, or, to excuse the phrase, or whether or not it is actually a serious drama. You can't quite put your foot on it from that, and you can never tell when something stars James Franco which James Franco you're going to get turned up. So yeah, I'm interested in what I'll say.
Okay, nice.
What else? The Beat Beneath My Feet. Luke Perry plays a presumed dead musician from the sort of grunge scene of the early 90s. And what would you know? He gets discovered by the guy living in the flat above him in London. The guy living in the flat above him, it would appear, is wanting to sort of, establish himself as a musician and wants to contribute in his school's Battle of the Bands, but he's a little bit too nervous and doesn't know how to play guitar, so enlists Luke Perry to teach him, and it's one of those kind of coming of age drama comedy style of things. The trailer actually looks alright, to be honest. It looks quite interesting at least, and very frothy, but the sort of thing where you go, do you know what? I could see myself watching that at some point.
Okay.
So that looks not, entertaining enough. the second trailer for Desertor, the Gael Garcia Bernal, and what's his name? Fuck. Oh, I forgot his name. Played the comedian in what is it, and he's fantastic. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, fantastic and everything. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So yes, I will be watching Deserter. Looks like it's pitched itself more as like a psychological horror / thriller. It looks quite interesting actually.
Okay.
And the Denzel Washington directed and starring film Fences. It's Denzel in fucking remember I'm Denzel Washington mode alongside Viola Davis. From what it looks like from the trailer, it's a family kind of drama. The trailer starts out with his son saying to him, "Why don't you like me?" And then the trailer kind of throws out shots as Denzel's character is explaining all the reasons to his kid for what all the things he does to him, does for him, like putting a roof over his head and everything like that, and then finishing it saying, "I know I do all that, so I don't have to like you."
Nice.
But it does look like. I mean, Denzel Washington, he's directed a couple of films, but it's not something he's heavily thrown himself into. He's seemingly dips into it every sort of 10 years or so. But it does look like this could be pretty damn good, actually. It's definitely one I'll definitely catch it. I mean, it's Denzel Washington and Viola Davis, so you know, at the very least, it's going to be well acted.
Yeah, there's going to be a level of quality there, isn't there? Yeah.
There is, yeah. And Denzel Washington's, I'm trying to remember which ones it is that he directed. They were both quite, I think he's done 2 or maybe 3, I think, previous. And they were quite good, actually, I remember.
Oh, there was the fucking, wasn't there one about writers or something?
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called. I have to find out now. So yeah, but that's looks good, but it looks like it could be quite weighty and make you go. You'll know you've been watching it. Antoine Fisher, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. I enjoyed that, and the Great Debaters as well.
Yes, okay.
Which again was actually really quite good. So yeah, these, you know, it's treading a similar sort of theme and a similar sort of morality, I suppose, within it. So it could be, looking forward to it.
Oh, nice.
Beyond that, no, that's all I've seen trailer-wise this week. Oh, I keep seeing the trailer for Girl on the Train.
Yeah,
Right.
It kind of.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on.
Right. Now, Becky's read the book. I haven't read the book. I don't want to know. I've said to Becky, I don't want to know what happens. I want to watch the film. I know that you should do that. You should read the book, but film is my medium, so there we go. Right. The opening line of the trailer is a really bizarre line, and it's starting to bug me and starting to put me off the rest of the film.
What is it?
It's Haley Bennett says something along the lines, and I might be paraphrasing slightly here, that her teacher once told her she's the mistress of self-reinvention.
Oh, yeah. That's like, why the fuck would you teach? Do you know what? Yeah. I think I tweeted about that when No, hang on. Fuck. I tweet a lot. So keep going, though. I'm going to find it.
Yeah, and she said it, and the first time it must have glazed straight past me. And then the second time I saw it, I remember thinking, that's fucking weird. I was like thinking, I don't think a teacher's ever said that to anybody. Why would? And then I started thinking, what situation was she in for a teacher to have said that to her? It's a very peculiar line within the film. So yeah, that's starting to befuddle me a little bit and put me off what looks like it could be quite a good thriller, to be honest. Are you?
Fuck, I think I'm nearly there.
Are you nearly there?
I think I'm nearly there.
But yeah, it's a peculiar one. Did I see something else? Trailer for something else?
I got it. Yeah. On the 11th September, no teacher ever told student they were the mistress of reinvention. Damn it, Girl on the Train trailer. Stop being silly.
Yeah. Well, yes, we both agree on that then.
Like, yeah. No, your teacher did not ever tell. Yeah. I'm interested because it kind of looks like Emily Blunt might be a bit nutty and might violently shag someone at some point. So I'm kind of up for it.
Yeah. but Ian, will you be doing it in 4DX?
Oh, are we doing that, are we?
It was a fucking good segue, wasn't it? Do you want to talk the Magnificent Seven film first, and then your DX experience?
Let's just get the 4DX out of the way, shall we? All right. So,
yes. So bubbles.
Well, there weren't any. But right. So
I'd have been fucking jamming the bubbles button.
My local Cineworld have introduced something called 4DX, which I'm an unlimited card holder. And so I got a discounted price on it. It cost me £4.20 something. If you're not an unlimited,
how much usually then? Yeah,
it's about 16. Now, you walk in, and all the seats in the screen are these 4DX seats. So if you're annoyed by it, you can't get out of it, basically. And they also had someone actually sitting in the screen all the time, I think making sure people didn't fall off them.
Great. So they can't put a fucking an usher in a screening of something and telling people to start using their fucking phones, but they can help idiots get back into chairs.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, like, you couldn't even... If she wasn't there, I would have genuinely have sat down just on the steps at one point. So, basically, it's an experience which involves wind, smoke, water, strobe lighting, and bubbles. There were no bubbles in my one, but Cineworld advertised the use of bubbles.
What? How many films have bubbles?
Well, there's also that. So, and the seats move. So, first off, like, through the ads and the trailers and stuff, there's nothing's happening. That's fine. And then it went dark, and after about a minute, a trailer for the new Forza Horizon game on the Xbox One played, with vibrating seats all over the fucking place, and then at one point strobe and wind. And the thing is, the wind right, there's wind and there's air. So there's wind machines, which are these massive, like, fucking machines, partly obscuring the top right of the screen, one of them. That was a delight. When it's in scope. Which Magnificent Seven was, big widescreen film. And about 3 seconds before the wind actually starts, you just hear them whirring up.
Oh.
So, already, I'm like, those can't be on for the entire fucking film, can they? Because I'm just hearing, yes, the film is louder than that, but come on.
Yeah.
And then the Forza trailer ends. It's about 30 seconds. Then it plays again. Then about 30 seconds. And then the usher girl, bless her, she's like, right, they're talking in my ear. They're having some problems here. Bear with us. And then it plays again. And then after about 5 minutes, they're like, right, okay, we're good now. So then it starts. And the seats... When the horses are being ridden, like, the seats are bouncing around. Generally, at random points, sometimes the seats just slowly move, which was weird. There's a moment in the Magnificent Seven where Lee Byung-hyun, or Byung-hyun Lee, whichever way around it is, my apologies, throws a knife at someone and it skims the side of their head. Right? When it skimmed the side of their head, a puff of air came out on the side of my ear, and I shit myself. But so that's interesting. Don't get me wrong, that's interesting. Now, also, when characters are being shot from close range, like, there's like little motors in the back of the chair that lightly pummel your back.
You got abused.
Kinda. Right. The thing thing is, there's quite a lot of shooting in the Magnificent Seven. Towards the climax, there's a lot of point-blank shooting. So I am sat there, leaning forward in my chair, because I don't want to be pummeled in the back by my seat.
Oh, fucking hell.
Right. When there's explosions, smoke goes off in the front of the screen and obscures the screen for a good 20, 30 seconds. Right?
Oh, God.
And at the end of the film, the closing lines that Hayley Bennett says, couldn't hear her because of the wind machine.
Wow.
So...
Not a fan, then.
No. It's basically being violently molested for 2 hours and paying for it.
Whilst not being able to watch.
Well, yeah, while not being able to focus on the film that you're watching, either because there's a wind machine obscuring part of the screen, or there's smoke in front of it.
It does sound like an ill-conceived idea.
It's fucking mental. I mean, and the thing is, it's like, what? Because they're going to have to fill this screen with something every week.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Like, what are they going to do during, like, I don't know, like, November? Well, I suppose Doctor Strange is out then. I suppose there's a big film that plays long enough to kind of sustain it now. But what's the girl on the train going to be?
Just a little train thing
Like,
going
every
in.
now and then, you like it vibrates. And then when you see like what I'm assuming is the scene of like the girl being killed or something, your seat's just going to attack you. It is. It's not for people who like going to the cinema to watch films.
No, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds a little bit like it sounds a little bit like it's an experience thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is, but
like something that they think there is no way this is going to be here in a year and a half's time.
I mean, to be fair, they decked out the screen and like it looks like I don't know, it looks like they spent some money. But for 16 quid a pop, maybe you'll do it the once. But
was there many people in watching it?
There was a few. It was 12:20 on a Sunday, and there was maybe about a dozen people.
That's not too bad, then, is it?
Yeah, it's. Oh, Allardyce is gone. But
he's gone.
Yeah, expected to be replaced by Gareth Southgate in the short term. Well, I mean, like, he's already said he doesn't want the job, though, doesn't he? So they've just got to parachute him in. Anyway, yeah, it was. It was kind of a joke, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're intrigued by the sound of it, I'd maybe recommend going for a shorter film.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's kind of like being more than tapped but less than punched in the back.
Shoved.
Kinda, yeah. And it genuinely, it got really annoying. So it's fucking mental. They've actually turned the cinema into a fairground ride. And I don't know, like, it is a little, I don't know. I mean, like, if I want to get like that deeply interacting with the experience, I'll play a game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. It seems like an idea that, I don't know whether they'll end up putting like games, I don't know, if there's a way they can put games competitions on in there or something like that, you don't know.
Yeah.
Could be the future of cinema.
I hope not. But, anyway, let's move on to the film.
Cool, right, The Magnificent Seven is a remake of the 60s Western, which is a remake of the 50s samurai movie. Obviously, the Western was called The Magnificent Seven, and the samurai movie was called Seven Samurai, and happens to be one of the greatest movies, and definitely one of the greatest action movies of all time. Directed by Anton Fuqua, and starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, Byung-Hun Lee, Manuel Garcia Rufalo, Peter Sarsgaard, Hayley Bennett, and everyone's favourite Cam Gijande.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not notice?
Was he one of Peter Sarsgaard's minions?
He was indeed,
Yeah, he fucking was as well.
Yeah. I was watching it going, oh, that's everyone's favourite Kamgajande.
Kamgajande, man, he's back!
He's back. Yeah, I thought you'd like that. So, story is, in case anybody doesn't know, Peter Sarsgaard plays Bartholomew Berg, who has the town Rose Creek under his iron fist, we'll say, and he's squeezing the town for all he can take it for, and basically offering them a pittance for their land to get them out because he owns the local gold mine. The townspeople send Haley Bennett, or actually they don't. She kind of goes off on her own and enlists Denzel Washington's character Sam Chisholm, who's a bounty hunter, who then enlists his 6 cohorts, we'll call them, to come and protect the town and to rid them of Bartholomew Berg, who Denzel Washington has history with, shall we say. Ian, The Magnificent Seven. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It does already feel like it's disappearing from my memory, and I watched it 2 days ago. Even though maybe the being raped in the cinema was was a side effect to that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's entertaining while it's on. It feels like it's got maybe kinda something slightly to say about the 99% and the 1%, maybe. But yeah, I like that they know Peter Sarsgaard would not last 5 minutes against them, so they wisely just have him stand in the background and sneer until the end. And he gets a couple of decent speeches. I mean, I think he's that first speech, he's good in moustache twirly and villainy,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, I suppose, but not really much more. Ish. What do you think?
I loved it.
Oh, really? Good on you.
Really, really, really did. I'm a Westerns fan, and I'm also a fan of the films of Anton Fuqua. I liked everybody in it as well. Individually, I think they're all pretty good. And so even if you'd have taken and said, "Oh, it's a new Western," you've got my interest. Or it's a new Anton Fuqua movie, you've got my interest. Or it's this cast, okay, you've got my interest. So throw it all together and add that. But I think always with any kind of, when you take a genre like the Western genre, I mean, for instance, we had Hell or High Water a few weeks ago, which is a Western as well, but it is set in modern times and was fantastic. What I was worried about is that this would end up being a little bit something like Gangster Squad, where you've taken all, or even something like Barcelona's Gatsby, where you take an older conceit of film, an older premise and genre of film, or this perceived older genre of film, and you bring it up to, you make it now, and then what you do is you throw a load of wire work at it, and you throw a hip-hop soundtrack at it, and all of those things. And I was going in there worried that that's what I was going to get, and was actually quite comforted by, very early on, by the fact that, oh no, it just is a proper Western,
yeah, I mean,
which I thought was really cool.
The most kind of like contemporary thing about it is probably the casting of Chris Pratt as the second lead. It's very now casting that.
Absolutely, and there is that kind of sarcastic reverence that Chris Pratt brings within his character to that, which is very good, and adds a little bit of something different, but always shows the edge of never quite going. He's never quite kind of winking at the camera or anything like that.
It's a good balance.
But yeah, it's a perfect balance. And then when you get to it got to like the end where essentially the town was about to come, and you had the Comanche guy come up and say they're coming, they'll be here at dawn. At that moment, I looked at my watch, and it wasn't because I looked at my watch going, looking at the watch, sort of counting down the time. I looked at my watch and thought, are we getting a 40-minute battle scene? Look, we're getting a 40-minute battle scene. All right, fair enough. I am, yes. And at that moment, I was sort of sat, quite literally, run my hands going, oh, is this where it loses it all, though? Is this where you get the out of this world jumping around and wire work? I just don't think we're going to get that from this director. And then we didn't. It was really refreshing to see a battle scene, which is what it is. It's a battle scene that is played out that looks.
Can I just confirm, Mark? Is it a battle scene?
It is a battle scene. Yes.
All right. Cool.
That plays out and looks like it could have actually happened. It looks grounded in a reality, which is something that in modern kind of blockbusters we're not really that used to anymore. We don't really see that. We either see fantasy battle scenes, and I'm not criticising these, or you get the superhero battles where it just is, he's going to fly around, he's going to fly around, he's going to do this, he's going to do this. And everybody gets their little bit within the ending. But it does feel... It felt like it had a bit of reality to it, which was nice and refreshing. But yeah, I loved it, and we'll go into the more bits that I loved about it, and hopefully that you enjoyed about it. But yeah, casting as well was spot on. And Vincent D'Onofrio's voice was strange.
Yeah, I mean, actually,
weird choice.
I was going to bring that up because like the very first scene that he's in, it's like really high pitched.
Yeah, and really high pitched.
And then he seems to kind of like chill that out in the subsequent scenes. And I think like because his character in that moment was basically just like left for dead basically, and I don't know, maybe he thinks, well, if I was in that position maybe my voice would go high. I don't know, but I don't know, I mean like after Daredevil and Jurassic World and now this, that guy's pretty fucking versatile.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's always been he's always been a great actor. He's just kind of, he's gone very under the radar and has kind of started to crop back up again, and people have gone, oh, Vincent D'Onofrio, isn't he fantastic? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I mean, it does kind of feel like if he plays his cards right, he's got a best supporting actor kind of thing, coming up for him in a few years with the right role. You know, it just, I mean, I'm glad you had such a good time with it. I like, it is very entertaining. I came away from it kind of thinking like, yeah, that was fun. Okay, on with the rest of my day. And I suppose there's a lot of merit to that. But maybe with a film that's 2.25 hours long and is another remake of this concept.
Holy shit!
What?
It's over 2 hours long.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
didn't think it was over 2 hours long.
Okay, fair enough. No, good. I mean, no, good on you, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I am saying all this with the massive caveat that I didn't enjoy my theatrical presentation experience.
Yeah, because there's that. I mean, like I say, it's got a hell of a pace to it as well. It picks up quite quickly, and like I say, it establishes to an extent the characters sort of quite quickly and quite.
It does, yeah.
It don't fuck about with it. It basically says this is this guy, this is this guy, and this is this guy. But then there's no kind of hidden moments within them. They very much are what they are, and there's kind of people. I've seen people say, "Oh, well." Because I've read a few reviews post actually watching it, people saying, "Oh yeah, but it's just the same old of what we've seen," and it's like, you are aware that it's a remake of a remake, so it is kind of gonna have certain, and they weren't just saying like in terms of what they were saying things like the Ethan Hawke character going and then the redemption of coming back and things like that, and the town being at siege and all these men are just saving them apart from, and then only a few get away, and it's like. That's because these things started with things like Seven Samurai, and this is that. If they changed it, it wouldn't be the Magnificent fucking Seven. It'd just be another film. And I like the fact that there was consequences to it, so you know going in that certain ones of them are going to die. And I like the fact that they didn't pussy out and go, well, everyone loves Chris. Remember, all spoilers all the time, guys. Everyone loves Chris Pratt, so we can't kill him. because we might get a Magnificent 11 or a Magnificent 4 or something like that. We might get a sequel out of it. This movie exists on its own and will always exist on its own. And I like that they were kind of franchise chasing a little bit for that, because there must have been a temptation, not from the filmmakers, but from a studio, for going, hang on a minute, if we've got this cast and it's a massive success, don't we want to leave the door open for something else?
Well,
no, you don't.
I mean, it's interesting, I suppose, that the characters who survive are the black guy, the Asian guy, and the Indian.
Yeah.
You know, like, is there a little bit? I don't know. I just think that is kind of interesting. To be fair, if we did get a sequel, and if it was those three teaming up with some new people, sure, why not? You know, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, Ethan Hawke being in there, his character was a little. Is he supposed to be fun? Is he supposed to be deadly serious? I mean, when he comes back in the end, you know he's going to come back, but it does kind of feel like he kind of set out his stall that he wasn't going to come back, and I don't think him coming back quite stuck the landing. And as soon as he comes back, it's like, all right, well, he's dead then.
Because you know he's going to come back. When he goes, it's kind of like, you know he's going to come back heroically and then die. It's his redemption. He has to die, because that's his redemption for all that he did.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's it, and the fact that that Billy dies by his side works very well, and it does have that scene as well. The fact is that you've just had Chris Pratt goes quite spectacularly, and it's almost a little mini set piece within the set piece.
Yeah.
It's the Chris Pratt going one, but then the death of Ethan Hawke and Lee Byung-hun, that just happens snap like that, and that's it. And it doesn't push those too much. It is. I say it's a lot of fun as well. And I was just going
to say, when it was a good practical stunt as well. When Ethan Hawke, or the stuntman, rolls down that roof and then just fucking slams hard on the ground.
Yeah.
As well, like that. Oh fuck! I wish I didn't watch this in 4D bloody X.
Well, the thing is, it's like I was saying about that the last sort of 40 minutes. It's fantastic because these are real guys. There's a bit where Lee Byung-hun is running, and he's running to the end of a decking, and he jumps and swivels and shoots as he's running, as he's behind him, and as he falls down. And there's a lot of kind of that, and you're watching going, it's great. It's because this is all stuntmen. Some of the actors doing the stunts, and it's real things blowing up, and it's all of this. It's largely practical effects, which just it feels nicer. It feels to watch. It's more. Bex said when she came out, to what she loved about that last about the kind of the shootout was you could tell what was going on all of the time.
Sure, yeah.
She said which. Sometimes you can't in these blockbusters when everything's manic and everything's crazy, and they use it's to bring the audience into the chaos of everything, and it's a bit like, all right, that's okay, but sometimes you use that as an excuse for just muddling things up. And so, it was nice to be able to go, I know exactly everything that's going on, and at no point does it come up and I go, wait a minute, wasn't he just over there, or was that blah, or what's going on there? Is he fighting? Who's he fighting? What's he fighting? It was just a shootout.
Absolutely.
And it was nice, and I think I saw it on Monday, about 11:30 in the morning, and there was a few other people in the screening, but it was majoritively, it was all guys as well, apart from Becky. The rest was all guys. But it was majoritively, I would say, guys in their, I would say, late 30s, early 40s. Most of them with what I would assume is their dad.
Sure, okay.
And there was a lot of that. And it was like, it's cool the fact that this film is, it's pitching itself to the white people. And I saw a tweet of somebody, I can't remember who it was, saying that they were going to see it because Lee Byung-hun was in it, and they felt no shame in that at all.
Nice.
And it was like, do you know what? There's a lot of people going to enjoy this movie. I hope the fucking miserable fucking vagina sand-wielding fucking ball merchants don't end up going, oh yeah, but it's just meaningless violence now. The women are all underplayed in it. No, they're not actually. Haley Bennett fucking kicks ass and takes names in it. It's cool, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. No. Absolutely, man. My experience was addled, so I'm saying definitely not shit for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, I will. I'm very, very sure I'll watch it again. I wish I had as good a time as you.
Yeah, I'm obviously definitely not shit on it. It may well trouble my top 10 of the year, to be honest, for the amount of fun I had with it.
Very nice.
Which I'm glad about. It's nice. You know, it's really nice. Going to watch a film and enjoying it. It's really, really nice. So yeah, our feature film review, Paul Magnificent Seven.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely not shit. 64%, which I'm very glad about. Touching Cloth, 9%. Miserable Bastards, 27%.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm glad that a lot of the general consensus seems to be that people are enjoying it, and it's doing quite well for itself as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Right, shall we move on to 31, a film that not that many people are going to watch at the cinema. But then again, a part of that is because it pitching itself as a VOD.
Wouldn't want to watch this on 4DX, I tell you.
I know. if you thought Magnificent Seven felt like being raped.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet, Sonny Jim.
31 is directed and written by Rob Zombie. It's the kind of like new concept movie for him, isn't it? Because House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Reject, and even his animated one, El Super Bastardo, was kind of set in that world as well, and then he did the Halloween films as well. So I suppose Lords of Salem as well was set on its own, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So 31 is it's set in the 70s, of course it is. It's a Rob Zombie film. 31 is a game that is played by rich eccentrics, one of them being Malcolm McDowell. They have captured 5. Is it ever really established what they do? They're like performers of some description, or they work for something.
I thought they were kind of rich people who had. Sorry, forgive me.
Yeah.
I think that's because they're talking about like circus acts and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, I think like circus hands or something like that. We'll say.
Yeah.
Right. They are captured and then wake up within this game world, and essentially they are locked there for 12 hours in this game of 31, where they are hunted down and attempt to be killed in like a 70s Running Man kind of thing. Ian, Rob Zombie, a lot of people love his aesthetic and love his style and love his films, and a lot of people don't. He's quite kind of Marmite as a filmmaker. I've got on with most of his films, but I can see how they could grate on a number of other people. What was your feelings on 31?
So I mean, I rather liked Lords of Salem. I thought it was by far his best film.
I liked it. Yeah.
And I went into this somewhat hopeful, you know. But I don't know. The thing is that Lords of Salem actually kind of felt like, even though it was Sherry Moon Zombie and it was a horror film, it felt like he was stretching himself, and it felt a bit less like a metal fan making a film than a filmmaker making a musically aware horror film.
Yeah.
Whereas this kind of does feel like Rob Zombie going back to his well and doing the shouty, sweary, southern fried gore thing. but with Malcolm McDowell in a wig. But I didn't hate it. The first 20-25 minutes was nails on chalkboard. Even though actually I'd say that, but the opening scene with Doomhead's monologue.
Yeah, Richard Burke is it?
Yeah, Richard Burke.
Richard Brake.
Brake, who I think is actually pretty good in this.
Yeah.
It's sub-Tarantino dialogue that he's doing, but I like that he's doing it, and it's black and white, and he's kind of like walking towards the camera, and you know, the fire in his eyes is very well done. But then it cuts to Sherry Moon Zombie and friends swearing at each other, and like that. Meg Foster, when she's sat with those two girls, and it's like, let me tell you how you get the money. It's like, licky, 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 fucky, fucky, fucky.
Yeah.
Like, come on, really, really.
Yeah, it was. It was at that point you kind of looking down, going, "Oh, Rob, no, not again, not again."
Yeah. But when it gets into the Running Man thing, I don't know. I started to get on board, and I thought that Sherry Moon Zombie, her kind of arc in the film, I thought was pretty well done, and I think she could be a good physical actress. It's just when she's talking, it's a problem. But I think she wears the mania well towards the end, I will say. Yeah, I mean, let's get your thoughts. I'm mixed on it. I didn't hate it as much as I hated his Halloween films, but it was disappointing after Lords of Salem.
Yeah, it's a mess of a film.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't know whether sometimes that's what Zombie is going for. I'm not saying he means to do it, but what I'm saying is he doesn't care that it happens, because he just accepts that that's part of the aesthetic of his films, is that they don't necessarily have to kind of make sense, because they're not set in a real world. They're set in Rob Zombie's 70s, 1976, not the actual 1976, where around the corner there is always somebody looking to play a game of murder. And, you know, the performances are typically Zombie there. He has developed a style that you could instantly put on a Rob Zombie film in 2 years' time and go, oh, this is the new film by. I'm not going to tell you it's by. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to guess, and you go, this is the new Rob Zombie, isn't it? He's got that, and yeah, it says Sherry Moon Zombie. She isn't. Sherry Moon Zombie in other people's movies, she probably would come across as a not great actress, which is why she doesn't do other people's movies. But within the world Rob Zombie creates, she fits for some reason. She just does. The only problem is some of the characters didn't fit. The lead guy, I suppose, as close as you get to it, he didn't fit. He felt he always felt a little bit like he wasn't going to contribute much apart from a little bit of talking himself up, but even he didn't seem to talk himself up very well. And you had the two black guys were good, but they didn't seem to bounce off each other as well as the film seems to think they did. But it had some nice gore in it. It had some of the dialogue sometimes makes you go, we get it. You try to revolt us through disgusting dialogue, but it's a little bit boring now after this many films. Just you're better at other things, so stick to that. And it does seem like some of the dialogue is just to make himself laugh rather than entertain anybody else. It did feel a little bit like that had more. This had more than, like you say, Lords of Salem had. Overall, I didn't dislike it, but I won't watch it again, let's say, whereas I could see myself watching Lords of Salem again. I have watched Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses a couple of times, but I probably won't watch this again. But then again, I'm saying that if it does get released, the full uncut version of it, then I might watch that. So you know, he's still a director that I would consider myself a fan of and I like, but I wouldn't try and defend him to anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's fair. I mean, that's the thing. It's really, really easy to write him off. Because it doesn't really seem like he grows, but with the right subject matter, and if he just chills out a bit with the dialogue,
Yeah.
then I don't know. I think people would have a lot easier time with him. I mean, he's got an eye for interesting, striking visuals. I think he gets good psychotic performances out of people. I mean, the Halloween films, I don't really like them very much, but I do quite like the physicality of Michael Myers and how kind of like fuming he is. And I think that's fun. It doesn't creep you out. It doesn't particularly gross you out. I'll talk about it in a bit, but there is a moment in The Girl with All the Gifts which disturbed and grossed me out at the same time more than I think Rob Zombie is ever capable of doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are moments that do hit that kind of primal pleasure centre. Oh fucking hell! Kind of thing, and those moments are in this film. I will say as well, the very end, it did kind of feel like he just gave up and didn't really know what to do.
It felt like there was an ending staring him in the face.
Yeah, and then it just cuts to black.
But he forgot to do it.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like he'd watch it now and go, shit, why don't I do this? Oh, fuck, why don't I do this? We can't do it now, can we? No, it's been out for 5 years, Rob. Fuck!
Yeah.
Shit. Because because it finished, and after it, Bex said to me, do you know that should have ended? And I was like, pause, before you say it, let's see if it's the same way I thought it should have ended. And she said that it should have cut back, and I was like, could have cut back to the opening monologue? And she was like, yeah. I said, and Doomhead, Shaman Zombie's character should have been stood behind Doomhead and should have killed that guy. And I was like, that's it. That's exactly the same as I was going to say.
Yeah, that would work.
And it would have worked. And it would have kind of made sense. But it didn't. It just kind of ended. And then you got the back of a bus. And I'm going, no, is that it? It's the idea of an ambiguous ending, and I get the idea of the ambiguous ending where he pulls the knives out and it looks like he's giving them to her, or is he not, or what? But it's just no. You can't do an Inception ending, Rob. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't have that movie and then try and do an ambiguous ending. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like he knows where he's going. Whereas with Inception, like Christopher Nolan in his head knows what the answer is.
Yes. Whereas he doesn't. It is just it quite literally is the fucking campfire scene at Stand By Me of, well, what happens next? Well, I don't know. Well, no, what happens next? Well, maybe she just goes home and eats a couple of cheeseburgers. It is literally, that is in Rob Zombie's mind right now.
Yeah.
But like you said, visually, he's. I think that's what keeps him going and what keeps him having fans is there's always something going on in his in every frame of his films. It's like there's bits where you're looking at and he's going. You get the feeling Rob Zombie's going. Could we have more grime on this toilet door in the background? And could I have a bit more blood there? And Nazi Dwarf, you need to be more Mexican. Dwarf. Yeah. Which I thought was fantastic. He's the least scary thing that has ever existed, yet he kind of played on that a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't big on it. It was just like...
It was.
Let's put a random bunch of words together and just like in human form. Latino Nazi dwarf. I mean, I don't know. It's just like microwave umbrella Canada.
Yes. Which now I'm visualising in the style of a Rob Zombie movie, and it kind of, I'm looking at it going, makes as much sense.
Yeah.
It's so fucking bizarre, but for me it kind of worked. That did. It worked better than the two chainsaw wielding brothers.
Yeah, I mean they were very forgettable. I mean at least Sex and Death had a bit of like visual stuff going for them. Yeah. I mean those brothers they were not good.
Yeah, but yeah. So I forgot to ask our audience about 31. To be honest.
Mind, eh?
So I apologise to people.
You'd only insult them anyway, Mark. So
I fucking was, fucking bunch of fucking dicks. So they're probably a fucking. But let's make it up. Let's do like a whose line is it anyway? Just fucking make up the scores. So where are you on it, Ian?
Touching Cloth. Don't hate it. Can't particularly recommend it. But to be fair, probably better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's where I am. I didn't enjoy it enough to say it's definitely not shit, because I do think it's a little bit shit. But it's not shit enough for me to say it's shit. It is touching cloth, which does feel a bit of a cop-out, but it is. I will still keep watching Rob Zombie movies, hoping that he mellows, not mellows, but just gets a little bit of centres a little bit more and gets a little bit more focus within them and delivers a properly good fucking horror movie. But I get the feeling that he maybe doesn't want to be honest. And like I say, we'll make up the audience. So they said definitely not shit 200% and touching cloth 45% and shit 800%. So yeah, what have you been watching this week, Ian?
So I just mentioned it in brief there, so I may as well start off with it. The Girl with All the Gifts. So I just decided to go and see a 10 to 10 showing of it last night.
Yeah.
It was just like Lottie was asleep, and like I was just thinking, sod it. I could watch the last 40 minutes of this finished horror film I'm watching on the LFF online library, or I could watch the rest of that tomorrow and just go see The Girl with All the Gifts, because it hasn't done that well. So I was a little wary that it might be disappearing quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange it hasn't done well, because it has had a lot of exposure.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's had a lot of press. It's had really good reviews. Like, not a bad thing I've heard about it.
I do maintain, though, that the trailer was crap.
The trailer is bad. The trailer is straight up bad. It doesn't really make it like the central conceit is kind of there, but it's like, right, so it's kids, but like sometimes they go zombie-ish, and one of them likes Gemma Arterton, and what's going on? That's kind of what the trailer is. So it's basically story is it's essentially the Last of Us has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it, really. There's a fungal infection which has turned most of the human race, or at least in the UK, into hungries. There are kids that, for reasons I will let the film explain, because I'll be honest, I heard why the kids were kind of half and half before seeing the film, and I think it actually kind of spoiled a particular revelatory scene about 2/3 of the way through the film that I think would have been more powerful had I not known.
Yeah.
So you got these kids. Gemma Arterton plays this teacher, and gotta get the girl's name, because I feel like I'm quite disrespectful for child actors on this show. So,
Senia Nuna.
That's as good a pronunciation as I would make, I think. So, she is the girl with all the gifts, Melanie. And she takes a liking to Gemma Arterton. Gemma Arterton likes her, just in a completely almost kind of mother-daughter type of way. There's nothing like that going on. It's not like Morgan. Yeah, it's not like the Morgan and that woman in Morgan. So Paddy Considine plays a military guy and Glenn Close plays a scientist. Shit goes down and the kind of military base they're on is overrun by Hungries, and the three of them and a couple of military guys have to try and basically go to Beacon, which is essentially the kind of the stronghold that humanity still has. Melanie, Glenn Close basically wants to dissect Melanie for her, because she thinks that they'll be able to find a vaccine for this fungal thing. Gemma Arterton doesn't particularly want her to be dissected, and Paddy Considine learns to respect the girl as it goes on. Because basically these kids are seen as not kids, they are seen as infected monsters who replicate learned behaviour around them to try and basically get people to come close to them so that they can turn feral and eat them, essentially. So they kind of think that the fungal thing is almost using their being a kid precociousness to ward off the sense of danger, which in itself makes them more dangerous. So like I say, if you've played The Last of Us, the visual template of this film is incredibly reminiscent. The makeup of the Hungries is incredibly reminiscent. The relationship between even the relationship between Paddy Considine and Senior Nanua is kind of reminiscent of Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us as well. So it's quite Last of Us-y, but it's quite an interesting feminine angle on it. 3 of the 4 leads are women, and the relationship between the 2 girls is actually really, really well played. You see why Gemma Arterton likes Senior. I'm just going to call her Melanie. I'm sorry. Why she likes Melanie. You see why Melanie likes Helen, Gemma Arterton's character. The film is incredibly tense in moments. That visual that I referenced in the 31 review, I had to look away partly. It's something. The setup is something I've never seen before in a zombie film, even though there probably has been in the zombie film, which is incredibly eerie. But then there's a kind of a revelation about something that's being hidden within this, and that was fucking rank. There's that as well. The third act, I'm surprised I haven't heard this before. There are some antagonists, and then maybe it's because it's spoilery, so maybe I shouldn't say. There are antagonists in the third act who have costume design which feels very much like mild spoiler alert, because maybe if you actually know about this going in, you might be more comfortable with it. There are antagonists at the end that feel like the Lost Boys from Hook.
Fair enough.
And it's a little
jarring.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it sounds it.
Yeah. But I mean, fair play. The kids play their roles well, but or it looks like the feral kid from the Road Warrior.
Yes.
Replicated 20 times. And it is a bit like, okay, well, you've watched The Road Warrior then. Well, really? So and the thing is, like I say, I think maybe if you know that going in, you might be a bit more prepared
forgiving
for it. Yeah, because I was a bit, but oh no, really, no, okay, what? But the third act kind of makes good with a really ballsy ending, which manages to balance hope and really fucking harrowing. all at the same time, and was quite something. The title has many meanings, and the ending is like, okay, yep, fair enough. So yeah, I think it's pretty worth its acclaim, even if it did kind of feel like the director and the production designer really liked The Last of Us, and The Road Warrior, and Hook.
And Hook.
But very well acted, very tense where it needs to be, upsetting where it needs to be, manages to just about not outstay its welcome. It's about an hour 50. I'm glad it was about there. I think if it was any shorter, you'd be losing character stuff. If it was any longer, they'd be flab. It won't be in my top 10 at the end of the year because that last act was so jarring for me.
Yeah.
And because I did kind of feel like the visuals were quite uninspired, though the film, I think it was made for like £4 million, which isn't that much money. I also, there's some CG blood splatters. There's kind of what looks like a 21st century matte painting in a couple of moments, which is a little like, is that trying to be retro or is that just a bit rubbish? But these are minor complaints. You know, the fact that this is what I'm picking holes with kind of shows that the rest of the film is worth your time, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a good cast, isn't it?
A good cast, well acted. It is tense. The story is engaging. Yeah, man, it does itself well. So
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. I also watched just a couple of things actually. De Palma, which you talked about last week. Yeah, really solid. Holy mackerel, very entertaining.
He does say holy mackerel a lot.
Yeah, and I like how he just completely bats away all the accusations of like sexism and stuff. The drill bit where he's just like, well, people were saying, why is the drill so big in Body Double? Well, it had to get through the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah, alright, were you really thinking that at the time that you wrote this? Yes, that makes sense, you fortunate bastard. But, okay, fine. Very entertaining, though. Like, it really whips through everything, and yeah, really enjoyed it. And I watched Sisters.
Oh, the horrible-looking Tina Fey film.
Amy Poehler one. Yeah, which is fine. I laughed enough. It's nearly 2 hours long, or is 2 hours long. Way too long. Tina Fey, when she's doing the I'm so fucking crazy, everyone. Look at how crazy I am. I'm crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I'm dancing to hip-hop. Yeah, I'm cool. Nah.
Yeah, this sounds like the sort of film I'd be watching and just punching myself in the face.
Yeah, it's little nails on chalkboard for you, I reckon, bud. Yeah. But it was fine. 7 out of 10. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. It's fine. I actually think Amy Poehler was not bad in it. She's a bit more chill than she has been, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, it's Sisters.
Cool. And was that what you watched this week?
Yeah, done.
I've only got a couple as well, actually. I rewatched Casualties of War from the inspired partly by the De Palma film. And then noticed it was only $3.99 on iTunes, so I thought, oh yeah, that's well worth getting and watching. It kind of was infamous in our house for when I watched it with Becky about 6 months after we started dating, so we were both like 16. I watched it then with her, and I'd seen it before and she hadn't. Have you seen Casualties of War?
Like fucking years ago. I wouldn't be able to tell you a thing about it, to be honest.
Well, the scene where the girl is shot. Becky made me turn the video off then and didn't talk to me for like a week afterwards. Second, two De Palmas that's happened with. To be honest, De Palma has caused issues in our relationship on 2 occasions. Also happened with Carlito's Way when he dies at the end. Yeah, she didn't talk to me for a week after that either. I genuinely mean, didn't talk to me for a fucking week. So yeah, rewatch Casualties of War. For anyone who doesn't know, it's based upon a real event. Stars Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. You've also got John C. Reilly and John Leguizamo as well in there. And Holt McCartney turns up for like one scene, which is quite amusing for the fact that it's weird to think that Holt McCartney's been around for that long, but it still, most people don't know his name. The story is that Sean Penn is a sergeant, reserve in this, and his little sort of platoon is sent on essentially like a walking mission where they've got to go from one place to another, and Sean Penn decides that they're going to detour a little bit to a village, pick up a girl, and essentially use her along the way, we'll say. Michael J. Fox, character at the time, who has only been there for a few weeks, thinks they're joking, but it turns out that they're not, that they are actually going to do that. Michael J. Fox's character keeps on constantly questioning it, to which Sean Penn's character keeps on constantly, essentially, bullying him about it. I know that department actually even mentions it, that essentially he tried to remake Casualty of War with Redacted, and failed miserably with it. But Casualty of War still holds up now. It's still got a lot of punch to it, a lot of sort of where it's one of those sort of Vietnam films that's kind of got lost in sort of the fact that there was a lot more better Vietnam movies around at the time, but it doesn't diminish the Casualty War of it being very good. But it doesn't use Vietnam as an excuse for what's going on. It basically doesn't even try and use war as an excuse for what's going on. It says that people would try and use these as an excuse for what's going on, and people will try and use war in Vietnam especially as an excuse for these horrible things that were happening. But Casualty War is very much says, to itself and to its audience, that's bullshit. Wrong is wrong, no matter whether it's at war or not, and that's why it gives the idea when people try and explain it, they can't, and it's war and it's war. There's nothing else to it. It still holds up, and it's still quite uncomfortable to watch at points, but very well kind of acted by a young cast who are just playing basically frazzled throughout it and confused and angry. It still holds up very well. $3.99 on iTunes is a bit of a bargain, to be honest. Yeah. And the other thing I watched was a film called Waffle Street. Which crops up. It's one of those ones that crops up on Netflix that you scroll by loads and go, and then eventually you might stop off and go, no. Well, I stop off on those films and go, that sounds alright then. Yeah, I'll watch that. It stars James Lafferty, who I gleaned is from a TV show called One Tree Hill, which I haven't seen. And it also said Danny Glover. James Lafferty plays Jimmy Adams. It's based on a real story, this actually. It's and he plays a guy who gets laid off from Wall Street when he essentially strikes a deal during the crash, whereby he knows the deal is immoral, but technically it's not illegal. But the company also know that it's immoral and technically not illegal. So what they do is they get him to make the deal, to set the deal up and everything, and then fire him so that they can blame him if it goes wrong.
Right, okay.
And they can blame him for the immoral thing. So this guy has essentially done everything he's supposed to do, and he comes across as being a nice guy, and he's aware of the fact that what he's doing is wrong, but the company's mantra that he worked for, I don't think it was in real life, but within the film, the company's mantra was, if it was wrong, it'd be illegal. So he kind of goes along with that, even though you get an idea that he knows it's not right. So when he gets laid off, he's never had to apply for a job or anything, and he becomes very well aware of this, that he's never had to fill an application form because he was sort of headhunted straight out of college, etc., and that he doesn't know he gets accused by his grandfather of never doing like an honest day's work in his life, and he kind of goes, do you know what? I've not really done an honest day's work since I was 15, so maybe I should do that. And it leads him to going and getting a job at a place called Papa. I think it's called Papa John's Waffle House. I think it's called.
Sweet.
Or Papa's Waffle, Chicken and Waffles.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be Papa John's. I think they might be getting
Yes,
into trouble there.
That's where that came from. It's Papa's Chicken and Waffles, which is a 24-hour waffle diner. And one of the guys who works the grill there is Danny Glover. And he gets this idea that the guy who owns this franchise is selling the franchise. So he gets this idea that he's going to buy it. He's going to buy this Papa's Chicken and Waffles franchise. But he needs to clock up 1,000 hours before he can buy the franchise. But he also doesn't really know what he's doing there. So the story is him getting better at the job, him trying to convince his wife that they should be buying this franchise. And he sells his house and his car and completely alters his life so that he can clock up these 1,000 hours to buy and get the money to buy this franchise. Whilst all the way through it, you're watching it going. The problem is, all the way through it, you're looking at it going, no, you're wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be using these 2 business degrees you've got to go out and get a better job. So you can support your now pregnant wife, who was being quite nice about this, but you're having a find yourself moment. We get it. But the problem is he's such a nice guy in it that you kind of are rooting for him, but you're rooting for him to do something else and rooting for him to do something better. But yeah, it's 85 minutes long. It's funny, but never hilarious. It never goes for too much drama, but it is very much that kind of indie, schmindy kind of thing that these movies all are.
But it sounds like an indie, schmindy thing, which is maybe better than most indie, schmindy things are.
Yeah. It is, because it's a really nice, sweet film that... It's not trying to say too much. It's definitely saying something, but it's not trying to force it down your throat or anything like that. And it is the drama that's in it. It shows you all like these real world problems of these guys, but it doesn't try and overblow them or anything like that. There's no great, massive emotional moments, and it is just a story of a guy who has kind of he's been kicked in the teeth by an industry that he's dedicated his life to, and now he wants to kind of do something different. And he's just too nice for that industry. He's not ruthless enough, and that kind of marries across. But I'd say it's worth a watch, to be honest. It's a mild recommend. Is watch the trailer. If you like the look of the trailer, then that is the movie. Because I watched the trailer before and I thought, right, what kind of is this? Is this more waiting, or is it more something a little bit more substantial? Am I going to get gross out comedy? And there is a gross out moment, but the gross out moment kind of makes sense in the film, and it's not a gross out moment of, it's not a forced gross out moment. It is just, this is something that disgusting that happens at these type of fast food places.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say it's a mild recommend. Except I watched it on a Tuesday morning because I was quiet at work today, so I had nothing to do. So I was like, right, fine, there we go. And that was a perfect time to watch it. It is the sort of thing you could quite easily watch, Ian. First half of it on your way to work on the train, and the second half on your way home on the train.
Sounds good.
That's it. And you'll finish it and you'll go, do you know what? That was all right.
Sweet.
That was all right. It was fine.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was Waffle Street. So that was all I've watched this week. I had a busy week.
Nice. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, I'm also done.
Cool, right. I think we've had one question from our audience, which was... Let me find it. From Rick Kidd, at Rick J. Kidd. After the US presidential debate, which politician from a film would make a better president than Trump or Clinton?
Oh, don't know, President Comanche, Bill Pullman in Independence Day. Oh shit! Okay, sorry.
Kurt Russell in Executive Decision.
Oh, that'll do. That would do. Harrison Ford in Air Force One.
Yes.
Get off my plane.
Yes, there's some good ones. A lot. Even Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks.
Yeah, for sure.
Would make a better president than Trump, let's just say. But then again, most things would. That thing, like those dogs that yap and jump around in circles, I think they would have more political kind of gravitas than Donald Trump.
I would believe it.
Yeah, because at least if they sort of set off nuclear weapons, it was just because they flipped in the wrong direction.
Nice.
It's fucking terrifying, to be honest. And we don't even live in America, and it's fucking terrifying. So for our American listeners, it just must be horrible and horrendous. Unless you are a Trump supporter, in which case you are just horrible and horrendous.
Well, yes.
But then you've also got to look at the fact is, when Clinton is seen as the same choice, she's hardly fucking perfect herself, is she? But
that's the fucking problem, isn't it? It's like she's kind of got enough like things that he can have a go at.
Yeah. But I kind of do feel like if you left, let's say, if you left Hillary Clinton to look after your dog, you'd come back and the dog would have been fed, it'd have been let out and everything like that. But let's be honest, she'll have trained it to do loads of tricks that you don't know about to fuck with you, and she'll have somehow made money off it that you don't know about, and you'll be going, why does he keep disappearing on a Tuesday afternoon? And I'm sure that's our dog in this Marks and Spencer's advert. It really does look like our fucking dog, that, doesn't it? Whereas you'd come home after going away for 2 weeks if Trump had looked after it, and it'd just be dead, and you'd ring him and he just wouldn't answer the phone, and then eventually you'd see him at like a party or something like that, and he'd try and avoid you, and you'd go, what happened to the dog? And he'd go, I never said I'd look after your dog. No, you did. I got a text saying, yes, Mark, I'll look after your dog. Mexicans raped him and killed him.
Yeah.
Well, I never said he was raped. Well, they probably did rape him. If they killed him, then Mexicans, they'll have raped him. Without question.
Nice.
ISIS killed him. ISIS bombed him. You just said it was Mexicans, Donald.
ISIS bombed your dog.
ISIS, yes, that is what would happen. So Hillary would make money off it and put it on Marks and Spencer's advert, and Trump would essentially just abandon it and claim that ISIS bombed it.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, so there you go. But Kurt Russell from Executive Decision. Ian.
That escalated quickly.
Escalated so quickly. Ian, what are we covering next week?
So, double review, Farting Corpse film, Swiss Army Man, which I'm pretty pumped for.
Pretty pumped for? Zing.
Oh yeah. And Deepwater Horizon, yes.
Yes. I'm looking forward to both of them for different reasons.
Yeah, but very different reasons, yes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued about the angle that Deepwater Horizon's going to take. That has me very intrigued.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
apparently it's a very angry film, and I'm up for that.
Oh, but yes, I am as well, actually, yeah. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to watching that at a nice early morning screening.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was episode 178 of Dude and a Monkey. dudeandmonkey.com. At Dude Foz, at Ian Loring, at Dude and a Monkey. You don't have to wait for us to ask for questions. If you think of a question you want to ask while you're listening to the show, then ping it across to us and we'll answer it on the next show. Beyond that, thank you very much for listening, and we'll speak to you next week.
Bye.